The hum of the San Diego power grid masks a rhythmic vibration 40 feet beneath the desert floor. Here, in the absolute darkness of the Otay Mesa border, a mechanical heartbeat pulses through the earth, ignored by everyone above. A thermal camera lens flickers to life in a darkened DEA surveillance van, capturing a strange, glowing streak moving in a perfect line. It is a signature of heat and movement that should not exist in the solid bedrock. To the FBI, this is the ultimate prize, a multi-million-dollar super tunnel built by the Arellano Félix Organization. To the three men trapped inside the reinforced concrete ribs of the structure, it is a tomb they are finally escaping. In exactly 90 minutes, the heavy steel doors of the warehouse above will be splintered by tactical teams. But the cartel's greatest architectural achievement is about to be used for the most audacious double-cross in the history of the border. Part 1. Silver or lead. It began with Diego, a brilliant civil engineer who thought he was designing a simple drainage system for a Tijuana warehouse. He soon learned the silver or lead ultimatum meant his family's lives were the collateral for his professional expertise. For 6 months, Diego and his two colleagues, Hector and Luis, lived as ghosts. They engineered a 2,000-foot marvel, complete with sophisticated ventilation, high-speed rail carts, and soundproofing that swallowed the roar of the drilling equipment whole. The cartel treated them like high-end equipment, providing the best tools, but keeping them under constant surveillance. They were invisible men, overlooked by the capos, who believed that massive paychecks and lethal threats were enough to guarantee a man's soul. Resentment grew in the humid, recycled air of the tunnel. While the cartel moved tons of narcotics and pallets of cash, the engineers were breathing in rock dust and silence, realizing they were destined to be executed once the project finished. The turning point arrived via a whispered phone call from Diego's cousin, a local cop on the cartel's payroll. The message was chillingly brief. The FBI had located the heat signature, and a massive joint agency raid was scheduled for tonight. Part 2. The 90-minute countdown. At 8:30 p.m., the clock begins its final, lethal countdown. The warehouse guard upstairs accepts a spiked soda from Luis, slipping into a chemical sleep within minutes. The three engineers are now the only living souls inside the high-tech labyrinth. They don't run for the exit. Instead, they head toward the Mexico side. In a hidden alcove near the southern terminus, 12 heavy industrial bags are stacked, containing $22 million in vacuum-sealed bills, waiting for a transport that will never arrive. The physical toll is immense as they heave 48 kilograms of dead weight into each rail cart. The smell of old paper and ozone fills the narrow passage as the electric motors whine, straining under the weight of the stolen fortune. Every sound becomes a potential threat. The distant siren of a police cruiser or the settling of the earth above sounds like a hammer against a coffin. They have less than an hour before the tactical teams breach the perimeter. They move with surgical precision, utilizing the very rail system they designed for the cartel's profit. The carts fly through the darkness, whisking $22 million toward the U.S. side, while the FBI stages its final tactical briefing outside. Part 3. The Perfect Vanishing Act. At the San Diego warehouse, they load the bags into a nondescript rental truck. Diego pauses to wipe the control panel and the rail handles with industrial solvent, erasing every trace of their existence from the smooth, cold surfaces of the tunnel. They vanish into the coastal fog at 9:31 p.m. Exactly 29 minutes later, the FBI detonates flashbangs and storms the warehouse. They find a sleeping guard, an empty rail system, and a tunnel that is hauntingly, inexplicably clean of fingerprints. The federal agents are baffled by the lack of resistance and the absence of the motherlode promised by their intelligence. They have found the tunnel, but the architects and the massive cash reserves have simply evaporated into the California night. The Arellano Félix Organization assumes the FBI seized the money. The FBI assumes the cartel moved it before the raid. Neither side considers that the three tools they used for the construction had the courage to rob them both simultaneously. A massive manhunt yields nothing but dead ends and empty leads. The engineers had no criminal records, no prior affiliations, and no reason to stay in the crosshairs of a war between the government and the most violent cartel in Mexico. Part 4. The Human Element. Today, the supertunnel is filled with tons of concrete, a silent monument to an era of subterranean warfare. It serves as a reminder that the most dangerous part of any machine is the human element that understands exactly how it works. Diego, Hector, and Luis were never seen again. Some believe they were killed, while others suspect they are living quiet, affluent lives under assumed names in a country where the reach of the cartel and the FBI cannot touch them. Their heist remains a masterpiece of timing and irony. They used the cartel's engineering to steal the cartel's money, then used the FBI's raid as the perfect smokescreen to cover their tracks and provide a clean, untraceable getaway. In the world of high-stakes crime, the smartest move isn't always the biggest gun or the fastest car. Sometimes, the most effective weapon is a blueprints-obsessed mind that knows exactly when to stop building and when to start taking.